And this is it, set 7 of the Winners League match between KTF and SKT T1. Everything on the line in this game, and KTF has sent out FireFist to take on Fantasy, who just took down Flash. 6 games so far, and no repeat winners. It's been back and forth all set, and we'll see if Fantasy can be the first person to break that trend and actually win 2 games in a row in this Winners League match. FireFist is a pretty competent Zerg player, but sort of unfortunate for KTF that he ends up facing Fantasy because he is not particularly good at ZVT. He's a little bit over 50% in his other matchups, but only about 42% in ZVT. Not a huge sample size. He's only got about 50 some total professional games, so that may just be an anomaly. But at any rate, if the statistics say anything, they say that this is not his best matchup. So Fantasy may have a pretty good shot at a repeat win here. In any event, Fantasy playing pretty well last match, responding well to some innovative play from Flash and milking an early advantage off going for 14cc on Coliseum. So if he can play up to that same level, if he took down Flash, he can take down FireFist. I'm not sure why KTF sent out so many Zergs in this match. I mean, they have some decent Protoss players and other players that probably would be better suited to this last winner-take-all game than FireFist, but in any event, this is who they chose. And you can see FireFist is starting down in the bottom right, and Fantasy in the top right in blue. We'll see whether Fantasy goes for a Fantasy build. I think this map is Neo Harmony. I could be wrong about that. We'll see when we see some more of the map. But Fantasy, at any rate, has trademarked his own build in TVZ, which involves Quick Armory and Goliaths and Valkyries, and basically everything that never ever ever gets built in standard Medic Marine SK Terran TVZ. And it's a lot of fun to watch, especially if you're used to the more standard Terran play. And it's reasonably successful. Fantasy is over 50% TVZ, and has won a lot of games with this build. But players are becoming more used to it too, so it's not. It's certainly beatable. And I would imagine FireFist is expecting and has practiced against something like it for a while. SKT mascot is doing another strange little dance, getting down on his knees and genuflecting. And Drone going up to scout. It's going to scout in the right direction and see Fantasy. KTF mascot doing a less strange but equally silly dance. Meanwhile, it looks like the SKT mascot has fallen asleep face down on the table. Oh, and Fast Command Center going down for Fantasy. I don't know if that was a 14cc that he put down. We'll see if he's got a barracks down already. If he doesn't, FireFist might be able to take advantage of that and push in with some early lings. But, Drone goes down for FireFist though, so a little bit careless. He's going to lose the scout. Well, I was going to say until an Overlord gets over there, but by the time an Overlord gets over there, there'll be plenty of Marines. And yeah, that was a 14cc. Now 2 barracks going down for Fantasy. So Fantasy is going to try to get Marines out as fast as he can. And with this 12-hatch build, FireFist probably isn't going to be able to do a ton of early damage. Those 2 racks will probably have pumped at least 3 or 4 Marines by the time the first 6 Zerglings can get there. So we'll see if FireFist even tries. He may not. He may just try to match Fantasy's macro. A couple of SKT players looking on very intently. And now Fantasy has the scout on FireFist. So he'll see whether FireFist does go for an aggressive build, and if there are leaks coming out, I'm sure he'll plop down a bunker. Now gas is going down, so we'll see. With these 2 barracks, actually, it looks like we may not see a mech build from Fantasy. So he may just continue with bio build, or he may go into some sort of bio mech, or may just transition totally out of bio. No more Marines coming out of those barracks. So, but there is an academy going down. So he is going to stick with bio at least for the moment. Bio mech builds are sort of fun to see. They what's neat about them is that they mirror sort of actual force compositions that you see from a real sort of contemporary human army, armored units and lighter mechanized forces supported by large groups of infantry with rifles and so forth. And it's neat to see those builds be effective sometimes, but it doesn't look like Fantasy's going to go for anything like that immediately. Bisu there, looking on, trying to keep warm. I guess it must be cold in the stadium. It's odd. A lot of the players do play in these very heavy, puffy jackets, and I'm not totally sure why, because it doesn't look like it's that cold most of the time, but maybe it is. Who knows? Marines posturing out in the middle of the map outside. Oh no, they're going to let the Lings run past. That might be a little... Oh no, the Lings are going to pick off a medic. Looks like. No, other medic makes it back in time. So, Fantasy being careful there. I got a couple of firebats on his ramp to prevent a run by. And 2 sunken colonies going down. So, FireFist is going to be probably in good shape to ward off this... Oh wow, there was some damage on that sunken colony. I don't know how that happened. Maybe there's an SCV that was attacking it for a while or something? But that's really significant damage, and now Fantasy's going to run in, and he will be able to take down that sunken. More Lings coming in, though. They're going to clean up this medic marine force. Firebat's now here. If they'd been there a couple seconds earlier, that probably would have been more useful. But, Fantasy might be able to put up